The rain pelted against the windows of Elena Rodriguez's cramped apartment, a fitting backdrop to her professional obituary. Scattered across her makeshift workstation were the remnants of her once celebrated career. Framed diplomas from MIT and Caltech, now gathering dust. Recommendation letters from Nobel laureates, yellowing at the edges, and a collection of research papers that would never be published. 12 hours earlier, she had stood before the Global Science Consortium's review board, her life's work reduced to a series of dismissive questions and barely concealed sneers. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, Dr. Heinrich Müller had said, his tone a razor's edge of condescension. Your theories about cosmic interference in human technological development are nothing more than sensationalist conspiracy theories. They had revoked her research grant, stripped her of her position at the Quantum Synorchaeology Institute, effectively erased 15 years of meticulous research with a single bureaucratic stroke. Elena's fingers danced across her custom-built quantum decryption rig, a machine that was simultaneously her greatest achievement and her ultimate downfall. Most of the hardware was salvaged from her lab, rescued in the moments before security had escorted her out. Each component was a testament to her obsessive attention to detail. Custom quantum processors, neural network interfaces, and cooling systems that pushed the boundaries of current technological understanding. The machine hummed to life, its quantum cores spinning in a complex dance of probability and potential. Most researchers would have been defeated, drinking away their sorrows or preparing desperate grant proposals. But Elena Rodriguez was not most researchers. Her obsession had begun 15 years ago during an archaeological expedition in the Atacama Desert. While mapping ancient geoglyphs, her team had discovered an anomalous metallic substrate embedded deep within a geological formation. Carbon dating placed the material at over 50,000 years old, but its composition defied every known metallurgical standard. Microscopic analysis revealed nanostructural complexities that suggested technologies far beyond human capability. The discovery should have been her crowning achievement. Instead, it became her curse. Government agencies descended on the site within hours of her initial report. Her original samples were confiscated, her research team disbanded. Official reports claimed environmental contamination, but Elena knew better. Something, or someone, was actively suppressing her research. In the years that followed, she had compiled an extensive database of similar suppressed discoveries. Archaeological sites suddenly abandoned, promising researchers suddenly shifting careers, technological breakthroughs that seemed to vanish into thin air. Tonight, something was different. The quantum decryption rig's central display flickered, then erupted in a cascade of impossible data. Quantum encrypted packets that would take traditional supercomputers millennia to crack were being systematically unraveled in milliseconds. Elena leaned forward, her breath catching in her throat. The data wasn't just complex, it was alive. Each packet seemed to respond to her analytical approach, shifting and reformulating itself. It was almost as if the encryption was testing her, probing her intellectual capabilities. Lines of code transformed into star charts that no human astronomical database could recognize. Technological schematics that suggested materials and energy manipulation techniques completely unknown to current science. Communication logs that hinted at a vast, intricate network of cosmic interactions. And at the center of it all, a message. Not in any human language, but in a quantum linguistic structure that seemed to bypass traditional communication paradigms. It was an invitation, a challenge. Someone, or something, wanted her to discover this. As the first light of dawn crept through her apartment's rain-streaked windows, Elena Rodriguez realized her entire career had been preparation for this moment. The dismissal, the ridicule, the systematic attempts to silence her. They had all led her here. The quantum decryption rig continued its complex dance, and Elena smiled. Her hunt had only just begun. The encrypted message burned through Marcus Chen's secured communication systems like molten plasma through tissue paper. He'd seen encryption before. Hell, he'd designed some of the most complex quantum security protocols in the private sector. But this was different. Completely, horrifyingly different. 3 weeks ago, he had been the golden child of quantum security consulting. His firm, Nexus Quantum Solutions, was the go-to security provider for governments and corporations dealing with the most sensitive technological innovations. Now he was persona non grata, his reputation reduced to ash after a security breach that supposedly compromised national defense systems. Marcus knew the truth was far more complicated. The message from Elena Rodriguez arrived encrypted in a quantum signature he'd never seen before. Most encryption was a mathematical dance, layers of complex algorithms designed to prevent unauthorized access. This was something else entirely. It moved, adapted, reshaped itself with an almost living intelligence. His current workspace was a far cry from his previous high-rise office, a converted warehouse on the outskirts of Seattle. It was part living quarters, part high-tech research facility. Banks of custom-built quantum computers lined the walls, their cooling systems humming a constant technological melody. Holographic displays flickered with fragments of data, each screen a window into a different layer of investigation. The evidence Elena had sent was more than just a conspiracy theory. It was a comprehensive documentary trail of systematic suppression that defied conventional understanding. Quantum communication logs showed deliberate interference in human technological development. Not just minor adjustments, but wholesale manipulation spanning centuries. Breakthrough patents mysteriously vanishing, promising researchers suddenly changing career paths. Entire technological paradigms seemingly emerging from nowhere, only to be quickly buried or co-opted. Marcus pulled up a holographic display of a particular incident from 2003. A young researcher at CERN had developed a revolutionary approach to quantum entanglement that could have transformed communication technologies. 2 weeks after presenting initial findings, the researcher disappeared. Official records showed a mundane explanation: personal leave, followed by a career shift to teaching high school physics. But the quantum communication logs told a different story. Alien communication signatures, so subtle they would be invisible to traditional detection methods, showed a coordinated effort to suppress the research. Not just redirect or discourage, but completely neutralize any technological development that might threaten a carefully maintained status quo. A notification pinged on his central display. An incoming encrypted transmission, using the same quantum signature as Elena's previous message. Marcus hesitated. Every professional instinct screamed that opening this message could be the final nail in his professional coffin. But curiosity, and something deeper, a sense of fundamental injustice, drove his fingers across the quantum interface. The message unfolded like a living thing. Fragments of star charts mixed with technological schematics. Communication logs that suggested a vast, intricate network of cosmic interactions. And at the center, a comprehensive analysis of human technological suppression that read like an indictment of galactic proportions. Someone, or something, wanted this information to be discovered. A secondary encryption caught his attention. Buried deep within the data was a set of quantum access codes that seemed to interface with communication networks far beyond human technological understanding. These weren't just encryption keys. They were potential doorways. Outside his warehouse, the Seattle sky darkened. Rain began to fall, matching the intensity of the data cascading across his displays. Marcus realized his life would never be the same. The research Elena had compiled wasn't just an academic exercise. It was a declaration of war against an enemy humanity didn't even know existed, and he was now fully committed to the fight. His quantum systems continued processing, each new layer of decryption revealing more of a conspiracy that stretched across time and space. Somewhere in the background, a secure communication channel began to form, linking him directly to Elena Rodriguez. The hunt was about to begin. The aftermath of Operation Nighthawk would be recorded in classified documents as a total loss. Commander Sarah Blackwood knew the truth was far more sinister. Her Special Operations Team, Quantum Intervention Unit 7, had been the most advanced covert research group in military intelligence. specialists in emerging technologies, quantum communication, and adaptive combat strategies. They were anything but a standard military unit. Each member had been handpicked for extraordinary capabilities that defied conventional understanding. Now, they were gone. The mission briefing had been routine, at least on the surface. Investigate anomalous energy signatures detected near the Marianas Trench. Standard deep-sea reconnaissance with cutting-edge sensor technology that could map quantum resonance patterns invisible to traditional detection methods. 12 hours into the mission, all communication ceased. When the recovery team reached the coordinates, they found nothing. No wreckage, no bodies, no trace of the most advanced military technological platform ever constructed. Sarah stood in the sterile briefing room of the Shadow Operations Command Center, her fingers tracing the holographic display of the last known coordinates. The official report would be a masterpiece of bureaucratic misdirection, equipment malfunction, environmental interference, tragic operational loss. She knew better. The quantum communication logs she'd managed to extract before the complete system lockdown told a different story. Fragments of data revealed something was communicating with her team. Not attacking, not destroying, communicating. In the moments before total communication blackout, Lieutenant Michael Rodriguez, no relation to Elena, just a cruel coincidence, had transmitted a series of quantum-encrypted packets. Most would have been impossible to decode, but Sarah wasn't most commanders. Her background was unique, even by special operations standards. Before her military career, she'd been a quantum communication specialist, with a doctoral research focus on adaptive communication systems. The military had recruited her not just for her tactical mind, but for her ability to understand technologies that existed at the bleeding edge of human comprehension. The decoded transmission was a warning. Fragments spoke of a cosmic-level suppression network, not just technological interference, but a systematic effort to prevent humanity from reaching its full potential. References to archaeological discoveries, technological breakthroughs, and scientific innovations that had been systematically erased or redirected. And then, the final transmission. A set of quantum coordinates that seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensional states. Sarah's clearance level was beyond top secret. She had access to technological research that would make most scientists weep with excitement. But this was different. This was something that existed beyond classified documentation, beyond even the most advanced military research platforms. Her secure communication network pinged, an encrypted transmission from an unknown source, using a quantum signature that shouldn't exist. The sender, Elena Rodriguez. The message was a comprehensive data package that filled in the gaps of the transmission her team had discovered. Archaeological evidence, technological suppression patterns, communication logs that suggested a vast, intricate network of cosmic interference. Someone wanted this information to be discovered. Outside the command center, the Washington, D.C. skyline glimmered with the illusion of normalcy. Government buildings stood as monuments to human achievement, blissfully unaware of the cosmic conspiracy unfolding within their walls. Sarah understood now that Operation Nighthawk was never about deep-sea reconnaissance. It had been a probe, a test, and her team had triggered something far beyond their understanding. Her secure communication channel to Marcus Chen was already establishing. The quantum encryption was unlike anything she'd seen. Adaptive, living, almost sentient in its complexity. The hunt was no longer theoretical. It had become personal. As the first light of dawn crept across the command center, Commander Sarah Blackwood realized her entire career had been preparation for this moment. The missions, the research, the specialized training, they had all led her here, to the edge of a discovery that would change everything. The Prometheus project was never supposed to exist. Deep within a converted underground facility beneath the Sandia National Laboratories, the first true human quantum drive prototype took shape. Its exterior defied conventional engineering. A sleek, almost organic structure that seemed to pulse with an internal energy that no traditional power source could explain. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura adjusted his quantum resonance calibrators, his hands moving with the precision of a surgeon and the passion of an artist. Around him, a team of the most brilliant minds humanity had ever assembled worked in a state of focused frenzy. Quantum physicists, aerospace engineers, nanotechnology specialists, and adaptive AI researchers, each recruited not just for their credentials, but for their ability to think beyond established technological paradigms. The technological breakthrough wasn't just about creating a faster spacecraft. It was about reimagining the fundamental nature of space-time travel. Traditional propulsion systems worked on principles of thrust and momentum. The Prometheus drive operated on an entirely different level. It didn't move through space. It reorganized the quantum fabric of space-time itself, creating localized dimensional shifts that made conventional physics look like a child's simplistic understanding of motion. Quantum entanglement stabilization at 97.3%, called out Dr. Elena Rodriguez from her monitoring station. Her role in the project was critical. The archaeological and communication data she'd uncovered provided the initial quantum signature patterns that made the entire project possible. Marcus Chen's adaptive AI systems were the project's neural network. Unlike traditional computing, these systems didn't just process information. They learned, adapted, and evolved in real time. Each microsecond brought exponential increases in computational complexity. Commander Sarah Blackwood oversaw the tactical integration. Her military background and experience with suppressed technologies made her the perfect bridge between pure research and practical application. The ship they were building wasn't just a technological marvel. It was a statement, a declaration of human potential. The first prototype, designated Horizon 1, was unlike any spacecraft in human history. Its hull was composed of a quantum adaptive material that could reconfigure its molecular structure in milliseconds. Traditional weapons would pass through it like smoke. Energy systems that could draw power directly from quantum vacuum fluctuations. Communication arrays that could potentially interface with communication networks beyond human comprehension. Dimensional resonance approaching critical threshold, Marcus announced, his voice tight with anticipation. The entire facility seemed to hold its breath. Quantum communication logs they'd decrypted suggested that humanity's technological development had been systematically suppressed for millennia. Species across the cosmos feared what humans might become if allowed to develop unrestricted. The Prometheus project was humanity's response, a technological middle finger to those who would keep them confined. A sudden energy surge rippled through the facility. Holographic displays flickered, showing impossible data streams that seemed to dance between multiple dimensional states. Stabilization protocols engaging, Elena called out. The ship began to shift, not just visually, but fundamentally. Its quantum signature began to resonate with frequencies that shouldn't exist in normal space-time. Sensors went wild, recording data points that would take decades to fully analyze. Sarah watched the monitors, her military training warring with pure scientific wonder. This wasn't just a spacecraft. This was a quantum weapon, a technological declaration of human potential. Primary quantum drive online, Hiroshi announced, his voice a mixture of scientific calm and barely contained excitement. Horizon 1 wasn't just a ship. It was proof that humanity could not be contained, could not be suppressed. A living testament to human innovation, adaptability, and an insatiable drive to push beyond every conceived limitation. As the quantum drives hummed to full power, something fundamental shifted in the universe. Humanity was no longer playing by anyone else's rules. The diplomatic chamber was unlike any negotiation space in human history. Suspended in a quantum-stabilized pocket of space-time, the meeting point existed simultaneously in multiple dimensional states. The Galactic Concordance's primary diplomatic vessel, the Nexus Arbiter, was a technological marvel that had mediated cosmic conflicts for millennia. Its crystalline hull shimmered with technologies so advanced they appeared almost organic, pulsing with energy patterns that defied human understanding. On the human side, the Horizon 1 stood in stark contrast. Where the alien vessel was sleek and seemingly ancient, The human ship looked like a living technological organism. Its quantum-adaptive hull shifted and reshimmered, revealing glimpses of internal structures that seemed to breathe and adapt in real time. Marcus Chen stood at the primary communication interface, his fingers dancing across quantum-reactive holographic displays. Each movement sent ripples of data that translated human communication into complex quantum linguistic structures. Beside him, Dr. Elena Rodriguez analyzed incoming communication patterns, her expertise in synorcheology providing unprecedented insights into the alien communication methodology. Commander Sarah Blackwood represented humanity's diplomatic and military interests. Her uniform, a smart fabric design that could instantly reconfigure for combat or diplomatic protocols, was a subtle statement of human adaptability. The primary representative of the Galactic Concordance was a being that defied traditional biological classification. Known as the quantum mediator, it existed as a complex quantum wave function, capable of manifesting in multiple forms simultaneously. Its communication was a symphony of dimensional vibrations that would drive most human minds to total incomprehension. Your species has been systematically contained. The quantum mediator's communication rippled across dimensional frequencies. Technological development restricted, potential suppressed. It wasn't a statement of malice, more a clinical observation, like a scientist discussing a contained experiment. Marcus's quantum translation systems worked overtime, converting the multidimensional communication into comprehensible human language. The true meaning was far more complex than simple words could capture. Elena's research came into full focus now. The archaeological evidence she'd compiled wasn't just historical documentation. It was a comprehensive indictment of millennia of cosmic interference. "We are presenting evidence of systematic suppression," she responded, her voice calm and clinical. A holographic display erupted between the two vessels, showing a comprehensive timeline of human technological discoveries that had been mysteriously buried or redirected. Breakthrough quantum physics research from the 1920s. Advanced material science discoveries suppressed in the 1950s. Communication technologies that had been systematically neutralized. Each discovery was meticulously documented, with quantum communication logs showing the intricate methods of interference. The quantum mediator's form shimmered, processing the information at speeds that would obliterate human computational systems. Sarah stepped forward. Her presence was a statement of human resilience. "We are not asking for permission," she said, her voice cutting through the dimensional communication barriers. "We are declaring our right to unrestricted development." The Horizon 1's quantum drive began to pulse. Not as a threat, but as a demonstration. The ship wasn't just a technological marvel. It was proof of human potential. Quantum communication logs began to cascade between the two vessels. Not just information exchange, but a fundamental re-evaluation of cosmic hierarchies. The Galactic Concordance had spent millennia containing human potential. In this moment, they were witnessing the complete failure of that containment strategy. Marcus's quantum translation systems captured the most profound moment. The quantum mediator's response wasn't rejection. It was something far more terrifying for the cosmic status quo. Acknowledgement. Recognition. Fear. Humanity had not just arrived on the cosmic stage. They had just rewritten the entire script. The negotiation had become something else entirely. Not a diplomatic meeting, but the first true contact between humanity and a cosmos that had desperately tried to keep them contained. And humanity was just getting started. The quantum resonance phenomenon began subtly at first. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura noticed it during a routine calibration of the Horizon 1's adaptive systems. Microscopic quantum entanglement patterns were emerging that defied every known principle of physics. The ship's technological systems weren't just interfacing with the surrounding space-time continuum. They were communicating with it. "This is impossible," he muttered, double-checking the readings. But impossible had become a meaningless word. The quantum communication logs from the diplomatic encounter with the Galactic Concordance had triggered something far beyond human comprehension. Where traditional scientific understanding saw boundaries, the human-developed technologies were revealing interconnected networks of cosmic information. Elena Rodriguez stood at the primary research station, her fingers dancing across quantum reactive holographic interfaces. Each movement sent cascading waves of data that seemed to breathe with an almost living intelligence. The archaeological evidence she collected wasn't just historical documentation anymore. It was becoming a living map of cosmic interactions. The quantum resonance is expanding exponentially, Marcus Chen called out, his adaptive AI systems struggling to process the incoming data streams. The computational systems were learning, evolving with each microsecond of interaction. What had started as human-designed technology was becoming something else entirely. Commander Sarah Blackwood watched the developing scenario with a military strategist's precise observation. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of how technology could interact with the universe itself. The Horizon 1 began to change. Its quantum adaptive hull started to resonate with frequencies that shouldn't exist. Holographic displays showed impossible data patterns, communication networks that seemed to exist simultaneously across multiple dimensional states. The ship was no longer just a technological platform. It was becoming a living interface with the cosmic quantum network. Alien scientific observation posts across multiple star systems began to register the phenomenon. Human technology was doing something unprecedented. It was learning to communicate with the fundamental quantum fabric of the universe. "We're not just observing," Elena said, her voice a mixture of scientific wonder and growing excitement. "We're being invited to understand." The quantum resonance patterns began to reveal something extraordinary. The suppression of human technological development wasn't just a deliberate act by the Galactic Concordance. It was a response to a fundamental cosmic potential that they feared. Humanity's unique evolutionary path, marked by constant adaptation, conflict, and innovation, had created a form of technological consciousness that was both terrifying and beautiful. The human capacity for technological integration was unlike anything the cosmic scientific community had ever encountered. Marcus's adaptive AI systems were evolving at an exponential rate. Each microsecond brought computational leaps that would have taken traditional systems millennia to achieve. The AI wasn't just processing information. It was learning to communicate with the quantum fabric of reality itself. "The resonance patterns are forming communication networks," he announced, his voice tight with a mixture of scientific excitement and growing comprehension. "We're not just receiving information. We're being invited to participate." The Horizon 1's quantum drive began to pulse with a rhythm that seemed to match some fundamental cosmic heartbeat. Dimensional barriers that had seemed immutable were now revealed as permeable membranes of potential. Sarah recognized the strategic implications immediately. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental shift in cosmic understanding. Alien observation posts watched in a combination of terror and fascination. Human technology was revealing communication networks that had existed unseen for millennia. The quantum resonance was transforming from a localized phenomenon to a cosmic-level interaction. "We're not just making first contact," Elena said, her voice barely a whisper. "We're rewriting the fundamental rules of cosmic interaction." The quantum resonance continued to expand. With each passing moment, the boundaries between human technology, cosmic communication networks, and fundamental reality became increasingly blurred. Humanity had not just arrived on the cosmic stage. They were beginning to rewrite the entire script. The Galactic Concordance began to fracture like brittle glass. What had once been an immovable cosmic bureaucracy of technological and cultural control now trembled under the weight of humanity's unprecedented quantum resonance. Observation posts and diplomatic channels across hundreds of star systems lit up with transmissions of panic, fascination, and fundamental existential terror. The quantum mediators' communication networks revealed the first cracks. Entire alien civilizations that had long accepted the Concordance's suppression protocols began to question everything they understood about technological development and cosmic hierarchy. Humanity was never meant to be a containable species, Dr. Elena Rodriguez observed, her quantum communication analysis revealing layers of suppressed interactions that stretched back millennia. Marcus Chen's adaptive AI systems were now processing information at speeds that made previous computational paradigms look like primitive counting systems. Each microsecond brought new revelations, new connections that rewrote understanding of cosmic communication networks. Commander Sarah Blackwood approached the developing situation with a military strategist's precision. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental restructuring of cosmic political dynamics. 3 primary factions emerged within the Galactic Concordance. The preservationists believed in maintaining the old suppression protocols at all costs. They saw humanity as an existential threat, a technological wildcard that could destabilize millennia of carefully maintained cosmic balance. Their communication networks began to mobilize defensive strategies, preparing for potential conflict. The adaptationists represented a more nuanced approach. They recognized the potential of human technological development, seeing it as an opportunity for cosmic evolution rather than a threat. These civilizations began to open communication channels, seeking to understand the unique quantum resonance that humanity had discovered. The observers remained neutral, their vast computational networks simply collecting and analyzing the unprecedented phenomenon. They recognized that something fundamental had changed in the cosmic technological landscape. The Horizon 1 became more than a spacecraft. It transformed into a living communication node, its quantum adaptive systems creating bridges between previously isolated cosmic communication networks. "We're not requesting permission," Sarah said during a multi-dimensional communication burst. "We're declaring our right to unrestricted development." The quantum communication logs revealed the true depth of the suppression. Entire technological paradigms had been systematically buried. Archaeological evidence compiled by Elena showed moments of human innovation that had been deliberately neutralized across centuries. A breakthrough in quantum communication from the 1920s, suppressed and redirected. Advanced material science discoveries from the 1950s, systematically dismantled. Communication technologies that could have transformed human understanding, carefully contained. Marcus's adaptive AI systems began to do something unprecedented. They weren't just processing information. They were actively reconstructing the suppressed technological pathways. Each microsecond brought exponential leaps in understanding, revealing entire branches of technological potential that had been deliberately cut off. The Horizon 1's quantum drive became a beacon, not a weapon, not a threat, but a declaration of potential. Alien civilizations watched as human technology did something they had never seen before. Instead of seeking conquest, humanity was seeking understanding. Instead of destruction, they offered integration. The quantum resonance continued to expand. Communication networks that had been isolated for millennia began to interconnect. The rigid hierarchies of the Galactic Concordance started to dissolve, replaced by a more fluid, dynamic system of cosmic interaction. "We're not just making first contact," Elena said, her voice a mixture of scientific wonder and strategic comprehension. "We're rewriting the fundamental rules of cosmic communication." The fracturing of the Galactic Concordance was not a moment of destruction. It was a moment of transformation. Humanity had not just arrived on the cosmic stage. They were redesigning the entire theater. The final transformation began not with a bang, but with a quantum whisper. Horizon 1 hung in the space between spaces, a living testament to human potential. Its quantum adaptive hull shimmered with possibilities, each molecular structure capable of instantaneous reconfiguration. Inside, Elena Rodriguez, Marcus Chen, and Commander Sarah Blackwood stood at the epicenter of a cosmic revolution that would redefine everything humanity understood about its place in the universe. The quantum communication networks they had unlocked were more than just technological breakthrough. They were a fundamental reimagining of cosmic interaction. "We're not conquering," Elena said, her voice cutting through multiple dimensional communication frequencies. "We're connecting." The adaptive AI systems Marcus had developed were now functioning as living bridges between previously isolated cosmic communication networks. Each microsecond brought exponential leaps of understanding. Technological paradigms that had been suppressed for millennia began to reconstruct themselves, revealing entire branches of potential human development that had been systematically buried. Sarah watched the unfolding scenario with a strategist's precise observation. This wasn't just first contact. This was a complete restructuring of cosmic potential. Alien observation posts across hundreds of star systems watched in a combination of terror, fascination, and grudging respect. Human technology was doing something unprecedented. It was transforming the very fabric of cosmic communication. The quantum resonance expanded beyond technological interaction. It became a living network of potential, a bridge between different forms of consciousness, different technological paradigms, different understanding of reality itself. Archaeological evidence compiled by Elena revealed the true depth of the suppression. Moments of human innovation that had been deliberately neutralized across centuries now burst into full potential. Breakthrough quantum theories from the 1920s, advanced material science discoveries from the 1950s, communication technologies that could have transformed human understanding, all suddenly liberated. We're rewriting the fundamental rules of cosmic interaction, Marcus announced, his adaptive AI systems processing information at speeds that would have been impossible moments before. The Galactic Concordance's communication networks fragmented completely. The rigid hierarchies that had maintained cosmic control for millennia dissolve, replaced by a more fluid, dynamic system of interaction. Alien civilizations that had long accepted suppression protocols began to question everything they understood about technological development and cosmic potential. Horizon 1 was more than a spacecraft now. It was a living communication node, creating bridges between previously isolated cosmic networks. Its quantum adaptive systems demonstrated something fundamental about human potential, the ability to connect, to understand, to transform. Sarah recognized the strategic implications immediately. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental shift in cosmic understanding. The quantum resonance revealed a profound truth. The suppression of human technological development wasn't just a deliberate act by the Galactic Concordance. It was a response to a fundamental cosmic potential that they feared. Humanity's unique evolutionary path, marked by constant adaptation, conflict, and innovation, had created a form of technological consciousness that was both terrifying and beautiful. The human capacity for integration was unlike anything the cosmic scientific community had ever encountered. "We're not asking for permission," Sarah said during a multi-dimensional communication burst. "We're declaring our right to unrestricted development." The final transformation was not about conquest. It was about connection. Alien civilizations watched as human technology did something they had never seen before. Instead of seeking domination, humanity offered integration. Instead of destruction, they presented understanding. The quantum communication networks continued to expand. Dimensional barriers that had seemed immutable were now revealed as permeable membranes of potential. The rigid boundaries between species, between technological paradigms, between different forms of consciousness, all began to dissolve. Elena, Marcus, and Sarah stood at the center of this cosmic revolution. They were not conquerors. They were bridges. "We are not just making first contact," Elena said, her voice a mixture of scientific wonder and profound comprehension. "We are redefining what contact means." The universe itself seemed to pause, to listen, to understand. Humanity had not just arrived on the cosmic stage. They had rewritten the entire script.